here, and you know what time it is? We are back for study time on finances, and this is You Were Born Rich by Bob Proctor. Proctor. And so today we're going to read from chapter 3, The Image Maker. And I picked out this very specific passage of the minister and the farmer. But the passage before it called You Are an Image Maker. I think this is where a lot of people actually make a lot of mistakes when they're trying to understand our purpose and existence here in this human form. And so, like, it isn't God's job to give us the things that we feel like we want. God has provided everything for us on this planet that we need. It is our job as co-creators to design the image and let God, or pray to God, to tell that entity, the creator, of what we actually want. That is what it means to be a co-creator. It's about praying properly and giving that image to God. And this is where a lot of people actually mess up. I think for this weekend, I'm going to actually go over the mind. I believe that is something that is so misunderstood in this world. And once people can really grasp that, they'll really start to see like they can change everything that they want. So let's go ahead and get into the first passage of You Are an Image Maker, because this goes hand in hand with the next passage of being a co-creator. You are an image maker. Most religions teach that God is responsible for everything made in this world. And I would fully subscribe to this proposition. However, as co-creators, human beings must bear responsibility for what God makes in their lives. And this is what they're saying. Also, sorry, I'm having a lot of nasal drainage right now. The weather here keeps going from hot and cold from day and night session. And this is why most of us are running into bad luck and all of these other problems, because we are not using our powers properly. School doesn't teach this, by the way. School does not teach anything about your higher faculties. School actually teaches you your higher faculties are nonsense. Also, how like when they used to say a bunch of our DNA that they didn't understand what it meant was junk DNA. There's nothing junk about you. There's nothing dumb about you. You are perfect, but you're not going to get the perfect results you want in your life until you know how to do things in an orderly way. So that's why we're going through this. And remember, like I said, there's only two goals that we really have in life: financial literacy, and then we have financial freedom. Once you hit financial freedom, you will expand on that to include all the things that you want to have for your life. So the minister and the farmer. A story I once heard illustrates this point exceedingly well. Many years ago, a minister was driving along a remote country road when he happened upon a beautiful farm. The farm was kept in absolute magnificent condition. The fences were well cared for. The crops were a radiant green, and although the house was set back some distance from the road, it was abundantly clear that it had a flower bed. It had, excuse me, a clean, fresh coat of white paint on it. Well cultivated flower beds encircled the house and stretched all along both sides of the long, wide driveway, leading to it from the road in a neat row along both sides of the drive as well, were straight lines of tall green poplar trees reaching up to a picturesque pale blue sky. The lawns surrounding, sorry, I'm trying to make sure I'm under the chat too. Oh, not important. The lawns surrounding the house were a deep, rich green, and as well manicured as any putting green ever was. Indeed, the entire picture would have fit well on a postcard, since it was absolutely breathtaking in its splendor. Now, if you have any questions about anything I'm reading or what I'm explaining, just make sure you put them in the comments. And if I don't get to it, or because while I'm reading, just keep writing it. Then the minister looked off to his right, to the other side of the road. Here the fields. Hold on one second. Guys, if you see we're doing a study time, I know some people like to use TikTok for games and jokes. And people on YouTube, you can hear too. Don't be sending me these dumb invites for games, guys. We're talking about finances. Being broke is not a game. Let's be real here. Being broke is not a game. I know some people don't care about earning money. Some people don't care about ever living their dream. Keep that shit to yourself. There's people on here that want to learn this stuff. Do not be distracted. Just scroll up or down, man. It's a lot of nonsense on TikTok. Don't try to bring it to every fucking page. I shouldn't have to talk to you like this. Y'all a grown man, because I was a grown man who just sent me this nonsense. Stop doing it. Then the minister looked off to his right, to the other side of the road. Here the fields were plowed. The earth was the deepest black the minister had ever seen. And he was amazed at how the furrows had been plowed in such a way that they stretched out in rows as straight as clotheslines. Far off in the distance, the minister could see the farmer sitting up on his tractor with a straw hat on the back of his head and clad in an old light blue pair of overalls. So he just dressed like a farmer. But that was good descriptive behavior when he wrote that. It appeared that the farmer was moving toward the road as he was plowing. Since the minister was in no particular hurry, he pulled his car over to the side of the road, got out of it, and walked toward the fence. As the farmer worked his way toward the road, he noticed the minister leaning against the fence. So he brought the tractor to a halt, climbed down from it, and slowly started to walk in the minister's direction. As the farmer got closer, the minister smiled, raised his arm, and waved, saying, "Scarred and calloused hands." He raised his arm and wiped the sweat from his sun-scorched brow. Still not saying a word, then he reached up with his other hand and gently took from his mouth the long piece of straw that had been bouncing and waving as he walked. Now, did you catch what they were just saying in here? He wiped his brow with he had large calloused hands. That means he was working. He made a sacrifice. And this is where in the Bible where it talks about you reap what you sow, as a man thinketh. Some of those seeds need to be reaped, sowed in your mind, but also some things have to be sowed physically. You have to make a sacrifice to gain and become the better version of yourself. If you want the better version of your house, you have to make a sacrifice. You may have to renovate it, or you may have to sell it and buy a new house. The same goes for a car, for land, how they're describing in here. Everything that we want, we are able to achieve it, but you must make a sacrifice for it. That is what it means to be a co-creator. You're sacrificing. He stood in silence for a moment, looking at the minister, and then he spoke. With a slow, steady voice, he replied, "Yes, Reverend, you're right. God has blessed me with a beautiful farm, but I just wish you could have seen it when he had it all to himself." What does he mean right there? He's saying for this farm to be in such orderly manner, he had to go and sacrifice and do that. Yes, God blessed him with this land, but it doesn't mean God is going to give you all the work, do all the work for you. I mean, this is where so many people make up when they're praying. They're praying, "Oh God, get me out of debt. Oh God, pay this. Oh God, do this." And they don't want to do anything. You must take accountability. You must discipline yourself, and you must make a sacrifice. Sacrifice is not a bad thing. I know we've been taught sacrifice. Oh, these ancient tribal civilizations, they would sacrifice brides and sacrifice kids. That's not what we're talking about. That is unaliving people. There's nothing good about that. That is not a sacrifice. That is dumb. When we're talking about the word sacrifice, it is losing something of yourself to gain more of yourself, meaning you're going to expand to a better version of yourself. That is what sacrifice is. It has nothing to do with none of this nonsense they teach us in school about tribes and ancient civilizations. All of that stuff is a lie. And it's a lie to keep us from understanding how to truly take advantage of the things around us and truly build the life that we want. That is the only purpose we're here for. We're here to express ourselves as a physical embodiment of God. We're here to express ourselves through happiness. We're not here to work 9 to 5. I don't know about you, but I did not come here to work a 9 to 5 job. I didn't come here to help other people get rich and then I'm sitting here struggling payday to payday. No, homie, that's not what this is. And this is why we all need to start learning this information. Understand that images are mental pictures that are made from thoughts. And the magnificence of the mind lies in the fact that it can think. That is to say, it can tap into thought and create whatever images it chooses. All couches, everything we live in this world first was in someone's mind. They thought about it. After they thought about it, they started going into action to recreate what was in their mind. That is everything in this world. Nothing is different. But what he said here, which is the most important, understand that images are mental pictures that are made from thoughts. The way we pray correctly is sending the correct image to the creator, to God, to Allah, to Buddha, whatever you worship. Like, this isn't something like, oh, you have to be a Christian, you have to be a Muslim. This is for everyone. And like, you have to understand that part. We think in images. Every time you have a true thought, there's an image that comes to your mind. Like, let's say if someone call you and be like, hey, girl, I got some bad news. Hey, man, bro, I got some bad news. You start having images of bad things happening to you in your head or happening to the person that's calling you. It happens off instinct. The catch is you have to turn that off and turn it on to start creating images that are for your benefit. See yourself happy. See yourself on a cruise. See yourself flying around the world. See yourself living like you want to live. Don't just be like, oh man, I want to be a billionaire. But do you see yourself as a billionaire? Because we do not know how to create the images in our favor, this is why most of us are never reaching the goals that we want to reach. We all have the capability to do whatever we want in this world. If you truly start studying successful people, most of them were considered dumb by all educational standards. Most of them. Thomas Edison, Benjamin Franklin, Abraham Lincoln, like all of these people that we've been taught to, oh, these people are amazing. They were considered dumb when they were children. Some of them weren't even allowed to go to school because they were said they were so dumb that they couldn't be taught. But what most people didn't realize what was going on is because they weren't able to get into the school system, it let them use their God-given higher faculties. And this is how they became great men and women. I mean, let's look at it from just about everybody in the world has the ability to fly now. That came from 2 bicycle mechanics. These are guys who was putting together bikes, and then they were the ones who figured out how to put a plane in the air. It wasn't the smartest people, the people who went to all of these different prestigious universities and stuff. It was regular people. So this is why I say, like, we all have the ability to be who we want to be. We just have to know how to create it correctly. Because we've been put on autopilot to not create what we want. Now play with your mind for a few minutes and become aware of how you can flash one picture or image after another on the screen of your mind. It is almost as if you were sitting inside your body at a great theater, and you are the writer, producer, and director of this movie you are watching. Now, just to go a little bit more in depth into this, where he's saying that great theater, that is your ego. One of the biggest misconceptions of modern psychology is ego is the enemy. Your ego is not the enemy. Your ego drives you. Your ego is trying to tell you, bro, I want to do more. Bro, I want to do better. That is your ego. The problem that most people have is if you're operating off your ego, you're saying, fuck the world. I don't care how you feel about me. I don't care if you think I can't do this. I'm going to do it. When people told me, don't go to Africa, moving to Africa is a horrible decision. You know what I said? Fuck you. I like, fuck y'all. You're not paying my bills. You're not living my life. Just because you're scared to go and do these things, why should I be afraid? And that's what made me come to Africa. Like, that's what made me when I originally left the United States. You know how many people were like, oh, you're going to be back. Oh, people, you know, everybody who leave, they come back in 3 years. I am 10 years out of the United States. And guess what? I have no intentions on going back. Mine is probably visiting once or twice to pick up some things. But outside of that, I'm not going back. But also the reason why those people were saying that, and this is why I don't have as much anger in my heart now than I used to when it was going on. They didn't know how to picture themselves doing what they want to do. They can only picture themselves going to work every day, working a 9 to 5, 6, 7 days a week until the day that they're in the grave. That's not my problem, though. And you have to understand this isn't your problem either. Your life is your life. Nobody else's life matters. You need to only be focused on doing what you want to do for your life. This is your life. It isn't your parents' life. It isn't your wife's life, your husband's life, your kids' life. This is your life. Now, that doesn't mean be irresponsible or be reckless, but it does mean take chances on yourself. If everybody else don't believe in you, who cares? You need to believe in yourself. That is the only thing that matters, is your belief in yourself. You and God have your own specific bond. If you ever heard of Thomas Troward, might start doing some of his books that is very in-depth. I'm not gonna lie to you, even with me, I still struggle a little with his works, but it's really good work. Each of us are the center of our own universe. I'm the center of my universe. You're the center of your universe. As the center of your universe, you are your main character. Play your life to the fullest. Don't let other people play your life for you by telling you, oh, this is better. Oh, this will work for you. They don't know. This is why, if you ever seen any of my videos on YouTube where I say, it doesn't matter if you're a good parent or a bad parent, you're creating trauma no matter what in your children's lives. And what I mean by that is you are making decisions for them after it comes a time where they should be making the decisions for themselves. Most parents have not been taught on how to push their kids into a certain direction. Most of us have come from parents where they're forcing us to go into a certain direction, especially if you're an immigrant coming to the United States. Most immigrants in the United States and most Black people, main thing our parents tell us, that you need to go to school and get a good education. If you want to be an actor or something else, they'll be like, no, that's dumb. You need to go be a doctor, be a lawyer. Like here in Zambia, it's so many nurses, but there's not enough jobs for it. It makes no sense. And then I'll be asking people, I'm like, why are you going for nursing when there's like 3, 4, 5 classes full of people ahead of you that's graduated and they don't have jobs? What makes you so special? But people keep doing it because that's what their family is telling them to do. Their family's pushing them. They're not pushing themselves to do what's probably really in their heart. Because it probably would have nothing to do with nursing. And it'll probably be one of those jobs where people are like, oh, you can't make money off of that. You can make money off of anything. Remember from The Richest Man in Babylon, everyone has skills to be able to earn money. So then it says, okay, let me go here. In a wonderful book I read a number of years ago titled The Science of Getting Rich, another great book by author Wallace D. Wattles, referred to this thinking stuff that permeates, penetrates, and fills the inner spaces of the cosmos. That is thought. Nothing is faster than thought, not even the speed of light. Thought is the most powerful thing that we have the ability to do. And to originate a thought on your behalf is using God-like power. You're becoming a demigod. What I mean by that is you're starting to co-create because you originated your own thought about where you want to be. You're sending that image to God, to the creator. Once the creator sees that image, the creator is like, oh, okay, this is what Jason wants. Now it's your job to focus that energy even stronger to where then you're using something called the observer effect. If you're familiar with quantum physics, it's the observer effect. You're observing your life from a future state. Once you start observing your life from that future state and it gets into your subconscious mind, God has heard your prayers. You don't have to worry about anything. That's what that whole let go and let God mean. And we're going to read that chapter tomorrow. We're going to read in that one. Let go and let God means you have now created so strong of an image. It's in your subconscious mind. You may dream about it. You salivate thinking about it. Like as a guy, it may even give you an erection, just like, man, I'm finna start creating a business. Now you may be laughing hearing me say these things, but I'm being serious. This is your life. Why isn't your life turning you on that much? Why isn't your life exciting you that much? We get so much excitement from external things. We have to go back internal. This is how we start changing our life. And if you need to know the book again, this is You Were Born Rich by Bob Proctor. If you're in Zambia, you can purchase it here at East Park Mall. This is where I got this one. I know South Africa has it, and I believe it's in Botswana too at the bookstore. Then it says, now become aware of this truth. Everything we do is preceded by an image. We think first in order to form an image. Then we do the work. Right there was just prayer. He just broke down how to pray to God. You don't get on your knees and be like, oh, God, oh, man, I just need $100 for this light bill. No, that is not praying. That is whining. That's not prayer. The churches need to stop a lot of this nonsense, and they need to start teaching people the proper way to change their lives. I grew up in the church, so this is why I feel like I can criticize them. I grew up in the church, and it's bullshit what they were teaching. If you really start reading the Bible for yourself, it is telling you how to think. It is telling you how to pray. It is telling you how to create your life. Revelations is a new chapter in the Bible anyway. People shouldn't even be wasting their time reading that crap. If I remember correctly, Revelations came around in the 1980s, I believe. Like, most people are not even aware of this. This is how you pray. Let me read this again. Now become aware of this truth. Everything we do is preceded by an image. We think first in order to form an image. Then we do the work. So many people want to be like, oh, I'm going to get rich. And then you ask them, oh, what's your plan? I'm going to find a job. I'm going to find something. You have to think it first. You have to start seeing yourself in a better place. If you can't see yourself in a better place, you will never become in a better place. You have to start using your higher faculties. If you know the higher faculties, leave them down in the comment. If you're on YouTube and if you're on TikTok too. Like, these are the things we're not being taught. We're operating from our senses, which is primitive. If you read As a Man Thinketh in the Serenity chapter, it talks about we have to escape our bestiality ways. What that means is we can't be so overindulged in this physical world. We can't be so overindulged in what we're seeing and hearing and tasting around us. We have to become indulged on the inside, the spirit. This is why we have to learn to slow down. So many people are so busy, they can't even think of them having a better life. And that is one of the most saddest things I see in this world. When I talk to people, and you can look in their eyes and it's like, what you want to do in this world? Oh, I don't know. There ain't no opportunity. Like, who cares about what there isn't? What is it that you want to do? The world can change tomorrow. Shit, if you was here in 2020, we all saw the world get locked up out of nowhere. And I remember telling myself a long time ago, well, at least I don't have to be locked down and be with the world locked down. Like, at least the Black Plague is over. And we ended up having COVID, or whatever the heck they called it. Like, the world changes every single day. The reason why most people don't ever see these changes is because they're not visualizing themselves changing. If you ever heard somebody say like, oh man, I like to keep it real. I don't never change. I do not like people who don't change. Like, if I meet someone from high school and they're still talking about the same shit from high school, hey, nice seeing you again, man. I got to go. Like, it's a waste of your time. Someone who's living in the past, you can't create nothing. You're still thinking about stuff 10, 15, 20 years ago. Like, man, we're in 2025. Like, the technology alone that we have now, and why in the hell are you still thinking about the past, your past life? This is why a lot of people are depressed. This is why a lot of people have anxiety. They're so busy focused on the past, what hurt them, what this happened. They're not actually visualizing and imaging themselves in a better place. Now, I can say this. I am someone who is clinically diagnosed with severe anxiety and severe depression. Going to war was hell. Going to war, the person I was after war is not the person you see right now. I had to envision this person. I had to create this person. Like, to be able to be in the position where I am now here in Zambia, where I'm purchasing land, opening up businesses, finna start a car service fleet, all of these different things. I was envisioning these things over 5 years ago. Like, even when I wanted to get into real estate and start developing, I was looking at those things years ago. I was studying years ago. I was implanting those images in my head years ago. Like, I'm not someone who's special. Being born in America does not make me special. There was nothing special about it. The only benefit that I will admit from being from America, it was easy to get a job, but it wasn't easy to get out of debt. It wasn't easy to understand finances. I didn't have financial literacy at that time. Like, I'm open and honest. I had payday loans at that time. I used to have car title loans. I used to pawn shit just to get enough gas to go to work. Like, all of these different things were things that I grew up doing. I grew up in the hood. Like, thankfully, I spent part of my life in the hood and I spent part of my life in the suburbs. I'm thankful for the suburbs because it showed me there was another possibility. Because when I was in the hood, I was like, yo, I'm not made for this. This is not what I came to this planet to do. And most people always used to laugh at me because as a kid, I stopped talking. Growing up in the hood, man, you see the atrocities, you see the violence, you see all the drug problems, all of these things. And then on top of that, I'm seeing all of these negative images of what it means, of what it means to be a Black man. So for me, and I was like, dude, I don't want to be this. I do not want to be a stereotype, especially this negative of a stereotype. So as a kid, I started picturing myself living different lives, but also not living in the United States. I was like, if this is the United States, if it's this hood, this ghetto, I don't want to be here. And so I was always picturing myself living abroad. I honestly thought I was going to be in Europe. I didn't expect to be in Africa. I'm grateful that I'm here for Africa. I'm so happy I followed my instincts and came here first, even though everybody else was telling me it was crazy. And now I found a place that I love. I consider myself home across multiple countries, all of that. Like, you have to start building your life. And if you're thinking like, oh, Jason's just lying to you, start talking to people who have any level of success. I guarantee you they're going to tell you they thought about it first and then they started seeing themselves doing that. It doesn't matter if you're an athlete. It doesn't matter if you're a lawyer, a doctor, a teacher, if you're an artist. Most rappers see themselves rapping before they became a seamstress, even a chef. You have stuff in the head to do it. Why is it there's people on the continent here right now that are barely making minimum livable wage cooking, and yet there's people in other parts of the world that are making multi-million dollars cooking? What is the difference? One is envisioning themselves as a cook that can make multi-million dollars. The other one just envision themselves of, oh man, here go a job. I'm just thankful for this job. A job is never going to change your life. A job is never going to pay you enough money to get to where you want to be in life. And here's the reason why. I don't understand why they don't just teach this in school. If a job was to pay you what you're really worth, that job would be broke. Jobs, that's the whole point. A job cannot pay you what you're worth. Even with me opening up companies, you think I'm going to overpay people? No. You're going to get paid based off the climate that we're in, and then also based off the type of work you're doing. Like, there's no point. Like, let's say I'm building a house. Why would I pay someone, let's say if the house, build a house, a 2-bedroom house from top to bottom, it costs, let's say $15,000 US here in Zambia. Why would I pay them $40,000 US? That is stupid. It doesn't matter about me saving money because I'm no longer in the US. What does this have to do with the US? Nothing. It's about me being able to make money where I'm at. It's business. And this is one of the things like we see in current affairs, like Umar Johnson. I'm not calling him a doctor. I refuse. Like, that man purchased a school building and he didn't know what the hell he was doing. He doesn't understand business. He is not financially literate. And one of the other reasons why I wanted to start teaching this about financial literacy first is stop giving stupid people your money. You're donating money to stupid people because they're making you feel good. Fuck your feelings. Like, please hear me on that. And I'm not trying to be rude or disrespectful. Stop caring about feeling good. Like, especially from outside people. Yes, the man talks great. He's a great orator. But at the end of the day, the man is an idiot. He doesn't have any business sense. He doesn't have any team behind him. You cannot build a school and start a school without a committee and a board, members of trustees, something. Like even right now with me, the reason why I haven't started building anything yet on any of the lands is not because I don't have the money to start building or purchase the bricks. I don't have my team yet. Like, okay, yes, I have my electrician. I have my plumber. But now I have to get with them and see like, hey, who do you all trust? Who do you know that can do roofing? Who do you know that can do certain things? Like you have to build a team. Business does not move fast just because you have money. That's where you make mistakes. That's how you end up getting yourself in trouble. And then that is a telltale sign of financial illiteracy. People who are financially literate do not move fast when they're first starting out with something. They move very slow. So this is something that I learned from, I think I learned this one from Dean Graziosi. And if I remember correctly, it was slow to hire, quick to fire. That means you're slowly building your team. But when you see someone is not aligned with your vision, your morals, or they're not just part of your team, you get rid of them. Business is not pretty. Business is not about making people feel good. Business is about creating revenue. Business is about growth. It's about creating opportunities. And a lot of people are not ready to do business because if you don't have a ground basis of financial literacy, you're going to waste a lot of money. Give you a prime example. Let's say Umar Johnson raised about 1.6 million US dollars. He could have brought that to Africa and been getting a return of interest of maybe 10 to 20%, no matter what country he would have went to in the southern region. Do you know how many boys that could have helped having that type of return of interest on $1.6 million? He could have put it in a rate in the United States and been getting a 10% return, maybe 1,000, not 1,000, about 100,000 every 3 to 4 months. Do you know how many black boys that could have helped? But how many did he help? He cracked a lot of single black mothers' backs. But how many black boys did he help? This is why we only have 2 goals: financial literacy and then financial freedom. Because if Umar Johnson was financially free, he would have understood what it really took to actually build that school. And he probably would have saw like, you know what? Building this school here in Delaware is a waste of money. This is an oversaturated state. The fees here are too expensive. He could at least went to the southern states, bought a school cheaper, bought an abandoned warehouse cheaper, and just built and laid everything out how he wanted to. Or he could have went to a whole nother country, got legal residency, set up businesses that was giving a return of interest, and he could have just been sending that money back to the U.S., helping black boys there, while still helping black boys here on the continent. It ain't rocket science, but it is financial literacy. And so this is why this is important. If you like this type of content, let me know. Let me know in the comments. If you're on YouTube, just let me know down below the video. I'm going to keep doing this. I'm going to cut this one off. I'm at about 35 minutes now. These are just little short lives. It's about, and all I'm doing is just really going over these books. These are the books I study. I was like, because everybody's always asking me, like, how do you do this? How do you do that? And I'm like, you know what? Instead of trying to explain to you how I'm doing stuff, how about I just let you study with me? I feel like this is more important than trying to direct you. Like if you heard me earlier, where it's like if your parents, when they're trying to tell you what to do, like what helps me get into my prayer state may not be the same thing that helps you. Like I know how to get to where my images are working. I know what to do. They're not with me, but like I have my glasses on. I'm usually reading books. Like if you're Zambian and you see me in public and I have my glasses on, I'm reading a book. Like people don't know that. Like some people think I'm recording and stuff. Like no, I'm reading a book. And as I'm reading the book, I'm having images play in my head about where I want to be, what are the next levels. Like, stop dreaming. Dreams you wake up from. Start setting goals, and your first goal needs to be financial literacy. If you're already done with your financial literacy, you only have one goal left in life: financial freedom. Financial freedom expands. Like I said, my a buddy of mine today, it was a YouTube short. It was this beautiful RV, man, like really beautiful. I think it was a multi-million-dollar RV, and then it had like a little Mini Cooper in the back that pulls out. I was like, bro, man, just imagine having this on the continent. I was visualizing myself driving that. Well, not driving it, having a driver. Something like that, I'm gonna have a personal driver. But like, do you visualize and have fun with yourself doing those type of things? If not, you should really start, because those are the things that's going to start changing your life, man. Like, let go a lot of this nonsense TV, a lot of this distraction, clubbing, drinking. All of that shit is designed to stop us from using our higher faculties. It's designed to keep us in this rat race. And like I'm gonna say, like I tell you when we studied The Richest Man in Babylon, once you become financially free, you realize financial freedom is a whole lot cheaper than being in debt. Debt is slavery, and we all live under a slave system now. We're all born into slavery. It doesn't matter your nationality, your religion, where you're from. As soon as the US dollar back in, I believe it was 1950s, when Nixon took the US dollar, took the US off of the gold standard and forced the world to use the US dollar as the reserve, the whole world went into a whole new slave system. It was just a whole new caste slave system. People just don't talk about it. And what I mean by being a whole new caste slave system, we became enslaved to debt. We do not understand how to use debt. Debt is a tool to gain resources, gain generational wealth. But most of us, and I'm included, I was part of it. I was getting debt like, oh man, let me top up on gas today. Oh, you know what, man? I'm a little hungry. Like, I'm gonna eat good. I deserve it. I deserve it today. So I'll go buy something, go out to eat somewhere nice. And then I realized like all of this money I was just wasting, because then you have to pay the interest on it. But if you actually use debt to where you're buying things, assets, such as real estate, let's say if you're developing properties, you use the debt to develop the properties. Once those properties are rented out, that's going to be the money that's paying off that property. It's not you paying it off. And so we have to start changing the way that we're thinking, and we have to start creating better images for our lives. So that was it for today. I hope you enjoyed this. I'm going to be doing this every day, man, every single day. I think I'm going to be mixing it up, though. I might start doing some in the daytime just because how this load shedding schedule is. I got lucky tonight, knock on wood. But I'm going to be doing this every single day. This one, we're going to still be doing You Were Born Rich, and this is by Bob Proctor. If you have any other questions or comments, just shoot them to me directly. Make sure they are based off of this topic. If you shoot me a message and it has nothing to do with the topic of financial literacy or financial freedom or what we talked about today, I'm going to ignore your message. I'm not being rude. This is what this is about. This is about helping us get to a better place. So this is something that is very important. And if you're in Zambia, in the next few months, I'm actually putting together my consultation company now. There's going to be all about business consultation, teaching these things from a business perspective. I have a whole year's worth of programs that I was doing in Bob Proctor's mentorship. So what I'm going to do is translate all of that into my language. It's the same stuff as Napoleon Hill everywhere. So but I will be eventually starting to do live classes here. And then I'm eventually going to want to start bringing that down to Botswana and South Africa. I have to check the legalities of that first. But since I'm a resident here, I know I can do it here. But for Botswana and South Africa, I will be seeing what are the workarounds to be able to do that. And once I know, I will start releasing dates of when I will be going just to do these type of classes one-on-one. But other than that, just remember this, I'm Jason, and success is simple once you know how.